Me to do that, I'll give you my reconstruction.
Please do so.
Zarathustra offers a view of the world in terms of certain abstract concepts, which, as was traditional in those days, throughout the world, religious poetry personalized abstract concepts. And he does that. The creation that Ahura Mazda thought of, it was in his mind, and he articulated it and made it an ideal creation, not material, but ideal. Now that is called Asha. Literally, that word means truth. But the notion of truth here is a very special one. Truth really means the totality of the vision of ideal existence. It doesn't mean in our ordinary sense the truth or falsity of a statement. The truth that he is talking about is the relationship of all things in perfect harmony, so that nothing occurs at the expense of something else. There is no friction in that existence. This ideal world of Zarathustra, Asha, was then actualized in the material world. Ahura Mazda, in his wisdom, conceived of a perfect existence in purely ideal terms, and this is what is called Asha, the truth. The truth then means an ideal form of existence where nothing is in conflict or in abrasion with anything else. It is also the notion of social justice. No one prospers at the cost of somebody's injury. Now, this ideal conception exists in an ideal world, what we might call the mental world. The term is mainyu, which exactly the word comes, the source of the word is the word which in English we have mind. Now, this ideal conception, Ahura Mazda then created into a material world. This is called the Gaithya world. And the ideal world was supposed to be materialized, actualized in matter. There would be, of course, material objects, physical objects. There would be animal life, there would be human life, and so on. And it was supposed to evolve, according to Asha, to a state of total perfection. However, and here comes the essential dualist doctrine of Zarathustra, within this material world, there is also the possibility that that Asha may not be actualized. Indeed, Zarathustra says there are two forces. I use the term vectors, but often the term spirit is used, but we shouldn't transform these into personalities. There is the spirit which promotes Asha, and there is the spirit which opposes, frustrates Asha. And this is the dualism between good and evil. The universe is to be understood as a potentially ideal evolution which has been contaminated by internal opposition and frustration. The world is to be looked at as a moral reality in which there is the movement towards goodness, but there is also the movement towards frustration. Now, this vision is the central religious vision of Zarathustra. And if one doesn't accept that, one cannot accept the faith of Zarathustra. Now, what is the individual to do? Here come the different abstractions of Zarathustra. Each individual is gifted with the good mind. It's not just the mind which enables us to work out mathematical problems or something like that, but the mind which is capable of grasping the moral nature of things. When you see something occurring in your society, you recognize that this much is fair and this is unfair. As one of the later priests said, it is not conceivable that a human being can look at the face of injustice and not recognize it. So we recognize it. When we recognize it, then we should articulate it and commit ourselves to improvement. We discuss it with people whose lives will be affected. We formulate a way of actualizing the good to whatever extent we can, and then we do it. And this is repeated in a phrase which comes in prayers all over. It's called the practice of good thought, good word, and good deed. See, there is no such thing as a good deed without good thought, because in the tradition of Zarathustra, there are no prescriptions, do this, don't do that, and so on. You are left to think through what should be done. The responsibility is yours. This acceptance of this responsibility becomes the way of life. And you have the view of the world. The world is a moral reality, your way of life. Act with good thought, good words, and good deeds. And you have accepted the doctrine of Zarathustra.